I'll keep it brief because the film itself is brief. It'd be a bit of a crime to talk about this film for longer than the film itself actually lasts. It is a 9-minute film called Daughters of the Fire. Pedro Costa, I think, absolutely a filmmaker deserving of his own return to form episode. Maybe we'll do that at some point. I'm kind of running through a lot of the greats. I watched Force Money the other night. You know, he is a very unconventional filmmaker, almost an eccentric. It was great to see him in discussion with Victoria Lithe at the ICA. Their films were in discussion the previous night, which is where I saw them both at the London Film Festival. The following day, they had this kind of awkward. They sort of opened the talk by saying, "Oh, it's difficult when filmmakers talk to each other," and you know, recounting the funny stories about how Ingmar Bergman, whenever he met Tarkovsky or Woody Allen, they just wouldn't say anything because he, you know, felt so self-conscious. So filmmakers who admire each other when they hang out, sometimes it's not quite as sort of riveting as a podcast. But they both said very profound things about the state of cinema. They both talked a lot about the preciousness of images and not, you know, overusing. I mean, some of it I think almost slipped into kind of boomer attention economy chat, and perhaps I fall on the more Godardian kind of collage image book approach. But I found their insights and wisdom very engaging and affirming. Pedro Costa, if you don't know who Pedro Costa is, he's a Portuguese filmmaker who early on in his career settled on a particular community of people in a sort of slum adjacent, sort of on the outskirts of Lisbon. In his film Colossal Youth, the kind of transition from that slum to more
it becomes sort of rationalized,
more
cleaned up,
more kind of newly built dwellings kind of occurs.
This is the community of
Fontainebleau as well. Yes, exactly. And then yes, you see that. So they're displaced and then dispersed, but he still follows these people. And Daughters of the Fire is a musical. It takes on a triptych form.
Fuck off.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing we got to remember about Pedro Costa, it probably is what I should have said at the top line, is he loves Hollywood. He loves excess. His lighting is always very expressive, and he likes to work with high contrast. He likes to be very deliberate and also likes to separate things within the frame and compose images almost like there's a kind of mechanicalness in the way that Bresson uses the edit. I feel Pedro Costa
He's very Rembrandtian. I think,
uses paint, uses light, and is exactly like a painter. But in such a way, there's such deep blacks that things that pop out, like someone's cheek or kind of a reflection of a light or something on the wall, kind of independently of each other, kind of stand out. So appreciated this hugely. Yes, it's a musical. It features 3 women in 3 different frames, singing about their pain. Essentially, I believe the music is Bach. It's accompaniment to Bach. Operatic accompaniment.
An aria.
Yeah, an aria. Yeah, I think it's an aria. I don't know, but it's very good. It made me very inspired and excited. I obviously immediately then watched Close Your Eyes. So I mean, it was 9 minutes. It was very short.
Oh, was it? So it was like a
double
bill. At a Amuse-Bouche before.
Yes, well, it's a proof of concept for a feature that he wants to make. So the idea is the next Pedro Costa feature will be a musical. It will be made possibly in this triptych format. The color was extremely rich. It felt a bit like being in a church and looking at kind of 3 very rich, colorful stained glasses. It's very iconographic imagery. It's from what I can tell, what I assume of Costa's work, it is once again about people from this community. It's I think what he said in the introduction, if I'm not mistaken, broadly, he was saying, you know, the situation of these people has gotten worse, and to totally beautifully, brilliantly counterintuitive, counter to the absurd rationalism of our social realist directors like Loach. He said that the plight, the more extreme the plight, basically, the bolder and more like ambitious and almost fantastical the way I depict this should be. So it's sort of filmed. It's filmed sort of on like exploding lava almost. It looked like there's a bit on a mountain. I assume this is like reminiscent of the Cabo Verde
making
mountain.
me thinking of makes me think of sort of Gaspar Noé's treatment with Lux Eterna.
Lux Eterna, yeah. Actually, it is a bit like that. Yeah, it has this quality.
Because that's quite a hypnotic, kind of like a hyper poppy, vibrant film. You know, in its own way.
And there is a final section which is just one channel, which is just sort of celluloid footage of Cape Verde, which I wasn't like but it was like an important respite after this very charged triptych section, which really has the eyes dancing around.
I like this kind of symphonic approach to filmmaking. Actually, there's this idea. If you're listening to a symphony, you do get rest and you do get moments of lower energy, and there's no reason why films shouldn't treat you the same thing. If
and
you're
Costa
really
always has. I mean, his horse money I was watching last night. The guy was like doing the when I said horse, I was like doing the thing because that's all the Portuguese. Horse money, because I'm trying to say Costa, not Costa, like the coffee brand. But yes, it's horse money has the same quality of really going through movements, and you sort of arrive in a Pedro Costa film. You arrive at a movement, and you're like, okay, I'm going to be here for a while. Some stuff is going to happen, and then you move on to the next thing, and it's a beautiful way to make films, and I hope he lives at least as long as Elisha has lived, and I hope he makes more films than. He's already made more films than Victor Elisha, but he did say a funny thing where he said, he was paying tribute to Victor Elisha, and he says, he's like, you don't have to make that many films, there are already many films. Victor, he's only made 4, but. They are 4 brilliant films.
It's true.
It's just true. Where is the lie? Very true. Yes, I don't know where people will get the opportunity to see Daughters of the Fire because it's only 9 minutes. So I guess it will find its way online perfectly.
Mubi or something.
Yeah, it would be good to see it on Mubi actually. But yes, great film. Just an exciting trailer almost for. It's funny. He made a very rude comment about the BFI trailer that screened before the screening. He was like, thank you to the BFI. I don't want to say this, but the trailer is terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. I only went to one public screening during the festival.
It's just loads of like fast clips. It kind of has a funny like momentum to it, but it just.
I think all of these festival trailers. It's probably worthwhile someone at some point studying the kind of the emergent genre of the kind of festival trailer. It's this kind of hype piece to.
Just ripping the richness out of like 100 different clips from films that happen to be showing at the same festival.
Whilst celebrating, saying something about this host city and saying something about the institution that's graciously funding the activities.